Hi everyone. Welcome to part one of my PCOS journey. It was really important for me to start a vlog on what I've been through and what I'm currently going through, just to kind of have that cushion of people who understand, maybe even women out there who have it or are recently diagnosed or maybe suspect that they have it, just so that there's some camaraderie going on here, because you can often feel kind of alone and left out in the dust when you have PCOS. It can feel like everybody else around you is getting pregnant and you're the only one who can't get pregnant. You don't ovulate, you don't have a period, and you can sometimes feel a little bit like a freak of nature. My name is Becca. I am 26 years old, my husband is 27, and we have been trying to conceive for 3 years, and throughout these 3 years we have gone to see several specialists. I got my period around age 11 and it was always super duper like textbook normal. Every month it would come without a shadow of a doubt. Everything was fine. Around age 20 to 21, things started to go a bit awry. I wasn't getting periods every single month. They started to just kind of come every few months. I started to gain weight. The symptoms of PCOS were there. At the time I didn't know it, but they were there. And I kind of didn't put two and two together, but I knew something was wrong at that time. And it came time for my husband and I to start trying. I went to an OBGYN and I told her about my lack of menstrual periods and that my husband and I were really looking to hopefully have a baby soon. And mind you, this was 3 years ago. So she had done a transvaginal ultrasound and we found that I had polycystic ovaries, sort of like a string of pearls. They describe it as a string of pearls. It really does look like a string of pearls. And each ovary had it, and so she diagnosed me as having polycystic ovaries but not having the actual syndrome. Decided that I'm going to go to a new OBGYN because I was not really pleased with the level of care that I was receiving at that OBGYN. They wouldn't call me back about blood work, and I'm somebody that needed just extra special attention because of the PCOS. I needed somebody who would call me back on my blood work and call me back. Oh, and the other thing is too, is I also have hypothyroid. My thyroid is a bit lower than where it should be. So I did go see a new OBGYN, and I went to somebody who is much more knowledgeable, and there are several doctors in this practice. My previous OBGYN, she had tried to put me on Clomid, 50 milligrams, and it was, looking back, completely unprofessional. She had placed me on 50 milligrams of Clomid. She gave me a prescription for 3 months, and she said come back on the 3rd month around cycle day 14 or 15 and we'll see where your follicles are at and if it's working. Unmonitored. So 3 months of my life went by and it didn't work. The 3rd month we go there and we are told obviously that it's not doing anything. Prescription for 75 milligrams, again, come back in 2 months. I kind of realized at this point that something wasn't right in my heart. I just knew that when you're on Clomid and whatnot, you really need to be monitored. It can't just be a, here's a prescription, I'll see you in, 4 months. Had just decided to stick with just trying to conceive on our own. We decided not to go with Clomid. We were just taking a break because this was right after all of our Clomid cycles with the other OBGYN. At this point, the OBGYN recommended that if we wanted to take a break from trying to conceive, to go on birth control pills. That birth control pills can help women who have PCOS, and it can kind of help to even out some of your hormone levels and even get rid of some of the cysts on your ovaries. So I basically decided to take some of this time and dedicate it to taking my thyroid medication, exercising, eating really clean, and being on birth control. 3 months to do this. So I was on it from March, April, and May of 2010. I was on those birth control pills. So on May, we decided that that was going to be our last month, and I stopped the birth control pills. And I had lost a significant amount of weight from early 2010 through May of 2010. We ended up just kind of being relaxed about it. To be perfectly honest, we weren't really thinking about it too much. I ended up getting a natural period in June of 2010, and then comes July. Now, I was about due to get my period in July of 2010, last summer, and I don't know what possessed me to take a pregnancy test, but I did. I took an internet cheapie strip because I love to pee on things and I cannot be trusted with the expensive drugstore sticks. We would be living in a shack if I did. The internet cheapie strips, and I peed on one, and for the first time in my life I saw a very faint pink line. Thinking I was maybe imagining it, I take it on my computer, I invert it, I start like, you know, playing with the colors, kind of seeing maybe this is real, maybe it's not. You know what I'm talking about if you've tried to conceive. Story short, I get a first response test and something told me to get a digital, so I did at the same time. I bring it home and I pee on the first response test, positive, comes up positive. Pee on the digital, positive, pregnant, I'm pregnant, couldn't believe it. The most unreal, ecstatic time of my life ever was looking at a digital test that came up pregnant. I literally, cannot even tell you. I fell to the ground with so many emotions, and when I called my mother to tell her, I was just hysterical. I just couldn't believe it. Hysterically crying out of happiness, shock, disbelief. 8 weeks pregnant, and it was a transvaginal ultrasound, and the tech saw a gestational sac but no fetal pole inside of it. At that point, she said that she would bring us back in a week, and we would see at that point, you know, why or what was happening. But immediately after the appointment, I started to cramp really bad, and I started to bleed. And then on Wednesday, I passed the baby. There was no longer a gestational sac in my uterus, so it was a miscarriage, and probably one of the most difficult things that I've gone through in my life. Why me? Why did this happen? Emotionally, you come to a point of acceptance, and you come to a point where you realize that there's nothing that you can do or that you could have done. It took me a long time. I felt that we were emotionally ready. We decided to go see a specialist. Said that my insulin level was extremely high. It was, I think, around a 40, and normal is, I want to say 10 or below, or even lower. Correct me if I'm wrong. On metformin. I am an insulin-resistant PCOSer. His sperm came back as perfect, she said, as they'd like it to be. The method is called the Dickey method. I will be on Clomid, 50 milligrams, cycle day 3 through 7. Then cycle day 8, 9, and 10, I will be injecting myself with Menopur. I will go in for another ultrasound. They will see how my follicles are doing, and if my follicles are looking mature and they're responding to the medication well, then they will give me the trigger shot. Basically, we're looking at a lot of time, a lot of doctor visits, money. There's going to be stress and pressure. Very high success rates. In fact, she's within the top 2% of success rates in the country. I believe in her. She says she can have me pregnant within 3 cycles. Crossing my fingers, hoping that she is right. You get to a certain point in your life where you want to have a baby and you want to have a family and you want to be pregnant so badly that injecting your stomach with a needle just seems like nothing to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.